Oh yes, the Battleaxe, the beautiful Battleaxe. Looks like people needed a guide. Because my funny little joke video was questionably received. About a 3-to-1 ratio likes to dislikes, even on a funny little meme video, barely over a minute long. Now, I could go on and on, wondering why people want proper Valheim weapon analysis in videos as long as it. Or I could give you the actual Valheim analysis. And I think people want the Valheim analysis. So here I am, Crystal Battleaxe, fully upgraded. My axe level is 45, nothing special. And I'm in the light game areas, got a fulling here. Club guy. Oh yes, beautiful. The Battleaxe, as you can tell, is a very proactive weapon. Got this beautiful middle mouse, costs 9 stamina. Just click and poke. Super fast, super linear. Has immense stagger. Will stagger any small or medium enemy that you come across as long as it's not 1 or 2 starred in one hit. Very good, but you need to be precise. The knockback is a bit of an issue, as you can already tell. But not terribly so. All you really have to do to account for the knockback is just run up a little bit. Middle mouse, run up, middle mouse again if they have a bunch of HP, or you can go into a main click combo with the left click. And you can have that to great effect. I mean, if there was an enemy that withstood the damage of a 1-2 after middle mouse click, like so, then the third hit, if not the second hit, would stagger the enemy. Which means I could just repeat the process and just kill the enemy as long as I have stamina. Which is quite often. Battle axes, as you can tell, make you very slow. Minus 20% movement speed reduction. That is vicious. Terrible for moving around. Luckily, we have an R. We can move around no problem if we press that R. However, this leaves you a little bit vulnerable in the middle of combat. Very tricky. Now, what does this all tell me? What does a quick linear stagger machine and a long, slow, cleaving damage machine tell me about this weapon? Well, it tells me 2 things. It tells me, 1, to never use this move set in a neutral situation. Never ever. Because you're going to get counter hit, you're going to get bonked. It's not going to be pleasant because you'll take more damage than you need to, and if you run into other enemies after that, and more after that, you could get whittled down and killed by pure RNG, and that's just not optimal. That's not good strategy. You don't want that. But also, this middle mouse, very good for single targets. Look at it. I'm not hitting any of the other barley, am I? Even when they're very close together, just one. But not that bad. That stagger, that proactive stagger allows you to do all sorts of crazy things, but on a single enemy. And with these two things in mind, the strategy begins to unfold. On single enemies, in solo, that are medium or small, the Battleaxe is the weapon of choice because of this poke and the combos that can come from it. Either poke, 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 or poke, 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 or even poke, poke can kill enemies. Or you can just go for poke standard move set, which I've been doing already. Or if you want to be crazy about it, you can go poke, weapon swap to Frostner, slam back to the regular Battleaxe, and then follow up with standard moveset now that the enemy is slow. And that will kill a lot of enemies. So it looks like this. Poke, slam. Oh boy, it's tricky. That you can do. A little bit of muscle memory there. I really like, once I have Frostner out, to keep Frostner out. But this isn't a Frostner guide. This is a Crystal Battleaxe guide. Let's see if I can get this right this time. Shake off my muscle memory. Poke. 1. Slam. Slam. 2, 3. Not quite. Very precise moveset. Let me try one more time. Poke. Slam. 2, 3. There we go. That's it. Now, it has to be very precise because your sprint will cancel a weapon swap. So if I have Crystal Battleaxe out and I'm trying to switch, I'm pressing 1, constantly pressing 1, not doing anything. It's not even registering. The moment I stop running, immediately switches. Switch back, switch, back, switch, back, switch. This all leads to very, very tricky timings. However, the end result is incredibly good. Quick stagger, slam, 1, 2, 3. That'll kill so many enemies. It's ridiculous. Well, I've talked about what makes this weapon really good. Whoa. Oh boy. Hopefully I don't die here. Go over here. Oh, that's bad. As you can already see, Crystal Battleaxe is not good versus multiple enemies. And I'll segue this wonderfully into one of the more overrated aspects, definitely by me and some others, about the Crystal Battleaxe, which is its blocking capabilities. The block on this is surprisingly high, but also surprisingly irrelevant. It's got a solid 40 block armor and a ×2 parry bonifier, which means it's blocking 80 at blocks power 0 and 88 on my setup of 20 block. You may think that's really good. That would block and parry a Desquito and other enemies, maybe a Fulling or two. It's not really much of an issue, is it? It seems like it's quite good, actually. Well, not exactly. Because Desquitos, it's better to have a decent amount of mobility and a really good shield, a quick weapon that you can swing in an arc, like this Frostner here. You can really parry and counter them, or block and counter them. Quick, an arc. Have a lot of give. You have a lot of forgiveness. Just in case you get staggered. Smooth, easy, 1-2. Well, I'll use this as an opportunity to show off the Crystal Battleaxe. Mosquito, get out of there. Get out of my farm. See? The regular moveset, it's too slow. You have to middle mouse poke, but not very relevant versus Mosquitoes, is it? See, you have to move up and poke to hit it. Ooh, world save. Just like that. A little bit of a move up and a poke. Now you might say, you have to move up after a poke already to get your combos off. So why is that an issue? Well, it's an issue because you could already just poke. As the Mosquito's coming at you, you could time it well and kill it, not even have to worry about the block at all. Similarly, when you're facing off Fullings or anything, you don't have to be reactive at all and wait to parry. You can just poke them. Just give them a poke. And because of that, the block power on this weapon is pretty much irrelevant. It could have block power 0 and a parry force of, I don't know, -2. And the weapon would still be as strong or weak as it is. Because of that, this modifier is highly overrated. Something that's not overrated, however, about the Crystal Battleaxe is the way that it chops down trees. Crystal Battleaxe can chop down a mean tree very quickly. All you need is decent stamina food, which isn't hard because honey is easy to come across and farming is renewable. So, just get yourself some nice stamina. Probably rested buff as well. Go to town middle mousing some trees. And look at that. Beach is already chopped down. Middle mouse again. And I'm going to leave. Oops. Get these in the right area. Cleave. Just like that. The two sides. Now for trees that are just really close together already. Chop, chop, chop. They're both downed. And just rinse and repeat. And just like that, have so much very quickly. Now, how does that work exactly? Well, every move on the Crystal Battleaxe counts as chopping move. So you can use this weird poke animation to chop down tree. cut away stumps, take out logs, the whole gambit. But you might be wondering, why is it so effective at chopping down multiple trees? Shouldn't it be weaker because you're hitting multiple objects? Well, no. The Crystal Battleaxe and Battleaxes in general got buffed in Hearth and Home. Now, they don't suffer any damage penalties when you're hitting multiple targets. So you can just cleave and chop down trees close to each other with ease. Great ease. Now I'm going to give you some context onto why I keep the Crystal Battleaxe on me compared to, say, Black Metal Axe. And that's because axes are slow. Axes are slow. One-handed axes are painfully slow. Now you might say, well, doesn't it all add up? Doesn't the increased damage kind of counter for the speed of the Black Metal Axe? Yes, but it's still a terrible weapon, and you have limited inventory. So, if you can carry a tool that's also a relevant weapon, then that's just optimal play. That's why I carry a Crystal Battleaxe on me for wood chopping. Now, I know you're probably saying, hey, you were saying that the Crystal Battleaxe was really good in single target combat situations, but now you're saying that it has this cleave effect that can shred through multiple enemies at once with very good damage. Potentially stagger. Well, yes, this is true, but remember, this slow regular move set that you're going to be getting this cleave off of opens you up for a lot of hits. And at this point in the game, you're going to be facing wolves, maybe a Fenring, some Fullings, a whole group of them, maybe a spear thrower. And keeping yourself open for these types of attacks will just get you killed. So you're trading damage, which could stack even with the greatest of armor. Even if you go full padded, got your bone mass buff, going health, stamina, or food layout, and you got the best of the best. You could still get chipped away by 1-2-star Fullings or a variety of spear throwers. However unlucky you get, it's still a possibility, and I don't recommend doing that because you could just lose to no fault of your own. Going this strategy puts you at risk of RNG death. And what do I say to that? I say that's bad strategy. But don't do that. Use the pokes. Be careful. Know your range, your hitbox. Understand how much stamina you have. Understand if enemies are coming to you, and you maybe intersect them with a poke or with a regular moveset. Get a kill on them without them even coming close, hitting you. Things like this. But that doesn't apply in multiplayer. In multiplayer, say you have somebody pulling aggro, maybe a tank. Somebody with a tower shield gathering all sorts of enemies up around them. They attack. The shield is bouncing them back. Here's what you do. Let's say this workbench is the guy with the tower shield. I'm going to stay back around past this rock area if there are enemies on him or around him. Because I want all the enemies to gather around that guy and not towards me. So I'm going to stay in this loose sandwich formation until all the enemies are gathered tight, and then I can move up, start my combo. And that's for sure going to destroy, absolutely destroy, a large amount of enemies in the game. Just a ton. However, you have to make sure that you are going to kill them. Otherwise, you leave yourself fairly open. And if you're not going to kill them, then you might as well whip out the gear and spin to win. Get a good spin on them, you get to stagger them, then the tank gets to counterattack, and so do you. Because of that, the Crystal Battleaxe in multiplayer functions like a great executioner. You have to make sure you're going for that kill, but boy will it kill often. Now, what's my conclusion? Is the Crystal Battleaxe really OP? No, it's fairly well designed. It has its niche purposes. It can hit well in a variety of situations and be, in fact, the optimal choice for single target encounters. And can be very optimal in a lot of multiplayer, multi-target encounters. Because of this, I would consider, if you're playing for total optimalness, or however you say that, make a Crystal Battleaxe. Absolutely make a Crystal Battleaxe. Make it in solo, make it in multiplayer, make the Battleaxe. You won't regret it. It'll take some time to learn. But in these encounters with one single target medium enemy or so, or smaller, oh boy, the difference it makes is ridiculous. Absolute carnage. And you can see I still have a little bit more training to do, being a club main rather than a Battleaxe. But the analysis still stands. And I'm getting better every single time I use this weapon. Oh yeah, I haven't talked about the spirit, because it's largely irrelevant. It's nice when you go back into the swamp, you can get some nice extra damage, but look at the destruction that you do regardless. It's a no contest style of weapon, you just destroy enemies. No problem. Middle mouse button, regular move set. It doesn't matter, these enemies. 1-star Draugr. Stagger lock. Skeleton. Poke to death. Blob. Poke. Poke. The knockback keeps it out of the range. Look at all these enemies. Poke. Regular moveset. Interceptive play. Boom. They're done. Draugr. Poke. Poke. He's dead. No problem. Every single enemy that came at me wasn't even the slightest of issues. And I'm running some very casual HP food. You know, deer meat. That's my HP food. That's it. Look, 1-star leech. Caught him by surprise somehow. Easy kill. 2-star Draugr. He's done. He's done before I could even finish my combo. Yeah. Crystal Battleaxe. I'm gonna say things about the subjective aspects of the weapon. And I think a lot of people are going to agree with me. This weapon looks amazing. Look at this thing. It's incredibly looking. Just looks top-notch, top-of-the-line design. So happy they made this the way it is. And I love the fact that it's made with crystal, ancient bark, silver. That's just so cool to me. Ooh, I gotta get a little better. He's done. And he's done too. Fierce combos. Now, while it can be very satisfying to pull off these types of combos, I can also see the Battleaxe being deeply unsatisfying to some people. You look at how the knockback pushes people away, and you have to move up. You have to use a little bit of stamina, waste a little bit of time for every little bit of combo and moveset goodness that you can get out of this weapon. And I can see that being very disappointing. Very unfulfilling to combo. And I get that. And to which I say, buff it. I don't care. Buff the weapon. You know, if Iron Gate buffed this weapon and they made it combo more, it still wouldn't shine and outshine any other weapon. It would be in the same category. It'd be a little better. But it would be in the same type of encounter range. You'd still be crushing single target encounters in single player, and you'd still have this executioner aspect in multiplayer. It'd be the same. You'd just be slightly more effective at it with the weapon. So, hey, buff the weapon. Okay. I don't think it's causing any detriment to the game, and I think people will just be happy. Got buffed. With that being said, hope you enjoyed. I know it's a bit of a rambly type talk about the Crystal Battleaxe, but Valheim weapons, they need a bit of context to their stats. They need a bit of context to their analysis. You're not going to fit a proper Valheim analysis, at least not on their weapons, in a video that's just over a minute long. But you got this far, hope you really enjoyed. Take care.